Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. And today we're going to be taking a look at, well, more like diving headfirst into this show from. And even if you consider yourself, someone who's like not really into horror, I think this one might get under your skin a little bit.
Yeah, it's got that.
In a good way. In a good way.
Just good. It's a good kind of creepy. It's
That's good creepy.
yeah, and it's a slow burn too, which I always appreciate. It's not just like throwing a bunch of jump scares at you.
No, it definitely prefers like atmosphere and dread and really like, you know, building that up.
Yeah, definitely a slow build. And it's like a psychological thriller, but with those classic horror elements. So it's got that kind of familiar feel, but it still feels really fresh, you know?
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is, well, for me,
Yeah.
really right off the bat, is this town, right?
Yeah.
This town that the show takes place in. Like, it's almost like its own character.
Totally. Yeah, the town is like inescapable.
Yeah. You can't leave. And every time somebody tries, they just end up right back where they started. And it's like, I don't know. For me, it immediately made me think of like The Shining, right? The Overlook Hotel.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like isolated, inescapable,
Yeah.
like oozing with this weird energy. Right?
Yeah, definitely. They both tap into that fear of being trapped, but From kind of like takes it up a notch. Like it's not just isolated geographically, but it's like this town is cut off from, I don't know, like time and reality as we know it.
And the way they film it too, right? It's like all these like never-ending winding roads, like dark and claustrophobic.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the visuals definitely play into it. Like the town is this, like, I don't know, like a physical manifestation of being lost,
Yeah.
literally and metaphorically.
And I feel like that, it resonates with a lot of people, even if you don't realize it. I feel like we've all felt trapped at some point in our lives. Like,
Yeah.
whether it's, a dead-end job, a relationship that's not, good for you, just this feeling of being stuck.
Exactly. And From is like holding up a mirror to those internal struggles that we have,
Yeah.
but then throws in the very real and, very terrifying external threat of these creatures.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like it's saying, hey, we all got monsters we're running from inside and out.
Yeah. And speaking of monsters, we got to talk about the creatures in this show because, I mean, they are the stuff of nightmares.
Right.
But what I think is so interesting is, like I said, the show doesn't really rely on those like cheap jump scares. It's all about, like you were saying, the anticipation, that like slow build of dread.
Right. And that gets under your skin so much more than a quick jump scare.
Way more.
Yeah, it's like, something sinister is lurking in the shadows, and it's almost like the show is inviting you to experience that terror right alongside the characters. It's really effective.
Totally. And it's like, it makes you wonder, like, okay, what are the rules here with these creatures? Because it seems like sometimes people survive and other times, well, let's just say not so much. It's like this whole other layer of fear and uncertainty. Like, you're constantly trying to figure out, like, what are the rules of the game here? But the game seems rigged. And it makes you realize, like, they're not just mindless monsters, right? Like, there's some thought behind their actions, some kind of, I don't know, twisted intelligence there.
Yeah, it's like they're playing by a different set of rules that we don't quite understand. And that just makes them even more terrifying. Speaking of trying to make sense of things, we got to talk about Boyd, right?
Oh, Sheriff Boyd Stevens. Yeah.
Yeah, talk about a character carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders.
I mean, trying to keep order in this town with everything going on. It's like, talk about an impossible job.
It's insane. But yeah, he's fascinating to me because, like, on the one hand, he's the sheriff, he's trying to protect people, but there's this darkness to him. Like, you can tell he's got his own demons.
Yeah, it's like, it's almost like the town itself, like it's gotten under his skin too, like it's seeped into his soul or something.
Yeah, and you can totally see it. Like, he's carrying so much baggage from his past, which, the show hints at, but doesn't fully reveal right away.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like, what happened to him? Like, was he already dealing with all this, darkness even before he got stuck in this town?
Right. Like, it makes you question his every move. Is he really trying to help people, or is he driven by something, a little more selfish?
Right. It's like you can't quite get a read on him. And then just when you think you're starting to figure Boyd out, we get Tabitha thrown into the mix.
Tabitha, now she's a fascinating character. Like, her arrival really throws a wrench in everything.
Totally. I mean, she's not just another resident who's trapped there. She seems to have this, like, connection to something else. Something, I don't know, almost supernatural. Like, she sees things, feels things that nobody else does.
Yeah, it's like she's the one who really starts to uncover the real mysteries of the town. Like, why is this happening? What's the point of all this? And her connection to the boy in white, that's huge.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Speaking of the boy in white, like, talk about creepy and intriguing all at the same time. It's like every time he shows up, you're never quite sure if he's there to help or, make things worse. It's like he's almost like this creepy urban legend,
Yeah.
like the one that you hear about like when you're a kid and it just sticks with you.
Totally. And that's the thing about From. It really knows how to use ambiguity effectively, like with the boy in white. Every time he shows up, it's like, more questions than answers.
Oh, for sure.
And it makes you wonder, is he a good guy, bad guy? Is there even such a thing in this town? It's like the lines get blurred.
Yeah. Like From is constantly keeping you guessing. Like it makes you question everything and everyone, even yourself a little bit,
Yeah.
which, when you think about it, is way scarier than just some like monster in the shadows.
Exactly. It's that fear of the unknown that gets to you. And like we were saying before, the show isn't just about those external monsters, right? It's about the darkness that's inside all of us. And it makes you think about, like, what would you do in that situation? How would you react?
Right. It's like a look in the mirror in a way.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening who's, maybe thinking about watching From,
Yeah.
what's like the one thing you'd tell them to, I don't know, like prepare for?
I'd say just be ready for one wild ride. From is going to keep you on the edge of your seat. I can almost guarantee you that. And, even after it's over, you're going to be thinking about it. Trust me.
Yeah, it definitely sticks with you. It makes you question a lot of things, like what is real, what's not.
For sure. Fear, humanity, even reality itself,
Yeah.
It's all up for grabs in this show.
It's a wild one. Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into From. And I gotta say, it's been a creepy but good creepy journey. So, if you're looking for a show that'll really mess with your head in the best way possible,
Yeah.
is definitely worth checking out. Just, maybe sleep with the lights on for a few nights after.
Yeah, just in case.